Now, of course, we begin here with our big story, the historic eclipse across America, finishing its journey over the United States. Tens of millions of Americans today in the path of totality as the moon perfectly blocked out the sun, an event that won't happen again in our nation for some 20 years. The rare total solar eclipse darkening the skies over Burlington, Vermont, where David Muir and ABC News Live prime anchor Linsey Davis covered it all live.
Go. There we have it.
This is like the most beautiful post-sunset moment on Lake Champlain. The mountains and the hills surrounding the lake are backlit right now.
Earlier, the eclipse forming in Niagara Falls, New York, where up to 1 million visitors traveled to get one of the best views in the country. Also, hundreds of couples tying the knot, participating in the Elope at the Eclipse event along the path of totality in Russellville, Arkansas. The full path across the U.S. starting in southern Texas, then traveling north and east through cities like Indianapolis and Cleveland before eventually crossing into Canada. Also, hundreds of millions of Americans who were not in the path of the total eclipse were still able to see at least some version of it, like those of us here in Los Angeles. Joining us right now is our ABC News contributor and astrophysicist Hakeem Oluseyi, live in the path of totality in Dallas, Texas. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm so happy to see you. And let me just jump right into you. I know you're like the constant space hype man, so this is really exciting for me.
Right.
Let's first talk about the corona on this one, right? It's different with every single eclipse, but it was particularly impressive this time. Can you tell us why?
Kana, yes, I'm so happy to be with you again. What an exciting occasion, right? Well, this eclipse is during a time that we call solar maximum. So just like the Earth has a magnetic field, the sun has a magnetic field. But the sun is not a solid object. It's made of plasmas, and they can move around. So every 11 years, it goes from being a perfect bar magnet, north at the top and south at the bottom, that's solar minimum, to a maximum mixed up state at solar maximum like we have now. And when you have that maximum mixed up state, you have much more interaction between the magnetic fields, heating the plasma, accelerating the plasma. So you just see streamers popping up all over the sun everywhere. So we had an active sun that gave us a beautiful spectacle.
Oh, that is so cool. So that's part of like the 11-year cycle, right, of this solar maximum, solar minimum. See, I'm learning for you. So can you tell me what more can be gained, though, by studying specifically the corona during an eclipse?
Well, there are two big things that go on with the corona that are paradoxes. One is, given the fact that the surface of the sun is 5,800 degrees Kelvin, how can it maintain a 1,000,000-degree atmosphere indefinitely? That's the coronal heating problem. The other problem has to do with the solar wind and space weather. Gravity is 60 times stronger on the surface of the sun than it is on Earth, yet its atmosphere just flows away. What a beautiful thing about a total solar eclipse is that scientists get access to those very low altitudes just above the surface of the sun where a lot of that heating and acceleration take place. So it's a rare opportunity to see a part of the sun that's otherwise obscured from us.
Okay, and look, there's tons of excitement right now around space in general. I mean, people are talking about space tourism, research stations on the moon.
Yeah.
So how does studying this eclipse impact and perhaps aid in that?
Well, space weather is a real thing. And just like weather here on Earth, you can have normal days, and then you can have these days that are just terrible, tornadoes, hurricanes. Well, the same thing happens in space. You have your average days, but then you have these big events, flares and coronal mass ejections, and those events could actually threaten the lives of astronauts or tourists in space, or they can damage the equipment that they rely on. So we have to have a predictive capability of understanding when those events are going to take place. And so understanding how the plasmas get energized by the magnetic and electric fields at the sun allow us to make those predictions for what's going to happen next, even though it hasn't occurred. So in a way, the sun is like our astrophysical plasma laboratory.
Noted. Okay, Hakeem, don't go anywhere. I want to bring in the rest of the panel to chat with us. So let's bring our big story to everybody else joining us today with Dr. Oluseyi, is ABC News contributor and op-ed columnist for the LA Times, LZ Granderson, our ABC News contributor and SiriusXM radio host Mike Muse, and ABC News senior meteorologist Rob Marciano in Niagara Falls along the path of totality. And everybody, since we're among friends, Rob, can I share with everyone that during the eclipse today, Rob, the bird flew by and dropped a little bit of good luck on Rob. What do you guys think of that? It's pretty good stuff, right? Rob, share your story with our friends.
I thought that was in the circle of trust, Kana. Yeah, no, it's it's frustrating. It was along the path of totality. Niagara and Buffalo really was the only major spot that had cloud cover all day long, and it looked really ominous. And we were all very depressed. The crowd was getting really sad. And yeah, about 2 minutes before totality, the birds started acting up, and one got close to me, dive bombed me, and hit me right in the back of the head with a little gift. And, you know, as the story goes, like, that's good luck. And sure enough, 2 minutes later, boom, the sky's open up for like 20 seconds, and there it was. The crowd goes crazy.
Wow.
And I may wash my hair tonight. But anyway, it's good luck. I know we have scientists on the line here. I'd love for them to chime in if there's any sort of peer-reviewed research that backs that up, what I just observed empirically today.
Oh, Rob, I love that story. And I love that the clouds opened up for everyone there in Niagara Falls. And it sort of seems like that was a similar story that we heard along the path of totality. Anybody that was worried about cloud cover, it did sort of open up. LZ, where are you today? Are you in Texas? Where are you?
I'm in Costa Rica, actually. So we also had cloud coverage for most of the eclipse. So I couldn't really tell you what was going on up in the skies. But I do know this, though, Rob. What you just said so reminded me of the movie Lady Hawk, which was about a solar eclipse. It's a day without a night and a night without a day. So maybe it was Lady Hawk that flew by and gave you a little gift.
Oh, that's good, LZ. That's good. You're also such a tough man to pin down. I never know exactly where you are. And look, Mike, we keep hearing all about, you know, how the solar eclipse looked, right? Especially in the path of totality. But Mike, we also heard people talk about how it made them feel. It was this truly spiritual experience for a lot of folks. They talked about kind of a sense of belonging. I don't know. What's your take?
Yeah, I think that's a really great observation. But more than that, I had some great science teachers in my day, but I wish I had Dr. Hakeem as one of my science teachers. To hear you, Dr. Hakeem, talk about science and space is so electrifying. It makes me feel regret that I didn't have you as a teacher. But Kana, you're absolutely right. I think there was this moment of gathering. So I had the chance to step outside my apartment in New York City, and to my surprise, there's so many people gathered outside, and we were all just in awe of each other. Now, obviously, we didn't have the total eclipse here, but we had partial. But even in that partial moment, we were all together, we were all in awe, we were all smiling at each other. And just for that moment of brevity, we all had the chance to take in the incredible weight of science. And for me, it's really looking at, you know, the ancient astronomers versus current scientists and astronomers and what they're looking at, what they're looking to investigate, to which Dr. Hakeem was talking about. It's just science is forever living, right? And I think that is the beauty of science, that is this ongoing revelations.
Yeah, absolutely. And then lastly, Dr. Oluseyi, to you, you know, Earth obviously is incredibly precious. So is the atmosphere. And I heard one astronaut talk a little bit about how during this total eclipse, it's a really unique moment to appreciate the power of the sun, how much it actually warms the Earth, because you feel that warmth totally, you know, go away as the moon passes. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that plays out?
Absolutely. But first, Mike, it ain't too late. You can still, you know, we're lifelong learners here, man. You can still be my student.
Yeah.
I'll charge you a special 1% discount. But anyway, the meteorological effects of a total solar eclipse are a part of the experience. And sometimes they bring their own clouds because this reduction in temperature can create condensation in the air. So what has happened to me a couple of times going to view total solar eclipses is that you look like you're clear, and then suddenly, right as the totality approaches, here come the clouds. Well, at Niagara Falls, here in Dallas, we had the exact opposite experience. We felt the temperature drop, but the clouds moved out. I'd never experienced that before, but I can say conclusively that this was the best total solar eclipse I've ever seen of the half dozen that I've been to.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. And then just lastly, Dr. Oluseyi, can you weigh in on the parallel between bird droppings and good luck, if you don't mind?
Well, you know, I've never had any birds drop on me, so I don't really have any firsthand data. But, you know, have everybody watching. If you had a bird dropped on you, then, you know, we can start following you and getting some real sound data, and we can solve it. Complete with error bars.
Yeah. And Kana, if I
We
could
only do that to guys who are intellectually challenged.
Yeah. Kana, if I could add another layer to
Consider
this,
yourself
too.
lucky.
Yes, please.
How about we
what I thought-
interview lottery winners to see who had a bird drop on them?
Yeah. What I was thinking about today, Kana, too, as well, as someone who grew up religious, someone who studied religion, for me, this put religion and science in conversation with each other, but not in a way that discredited either, but in a way, for me, that really emboldened my faith, right? And in terms of, like, for me, only but God could create something like this. But even if you are a scientist, even if you want to disprove God, there was a moment for that to happen too as well. But I just thought that this was just such a beautiful conversation between science and religion, and to really think about that. And for me, I was actually been unpacking that in my head, you know, all day today about those two disparate points.
Yeah, it's certainly a moment for everybody to be very introspective as they watched that historic total solar eclipse, and to turn Rob Marciano into a science experiment. LZ, Mike, Rob, and Dr. Oluseyi, thank you so much for being with us today. And coming up next here in our Spotlight, the politics of abortion are looming large right now in the 2024 election. How will former President Trump's new message on states' rights play out in Washington and then around the country? Our panel will weigh in after the break.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.